You move that tractor right now, or I'm calling my lawyer. Karen Salters stood in front of my John Deere, one hand on her hip, the other pointing at me like I was a misbehaving dog. Behind her, her white Escalade sat parked sideways across my farm road, blocking the only route to my cattle pasture. Ma'am, I said, keeping my voice level, I need to get feed through. You're on private property. Private? She laughed sharp, meant to cut. The developer said this was community access, so you're the one trespassing on our route. I blinked slowly. Your route? Yes. She adjusted her sunglasses. And if you think you can intimidate me with your farm toys, think again. I have an HOA board, a lawyer on retainer, and a dash cam recording every word. Behind me, one of my pregnant heifers let out a long, pained bellow. Karen didn't even flinch. That's just a cow, she said. It'll survive. Something inside me went cold. Not angry. Just done. You're right, I said, stepping back. It probably will. But your Escalade? That's a different story. Her smile faltered. And that second was all I needed. My name is Marcus Chen. I'm 56. After 25 years in logistics management conference rooms, stale coffee, phones that never stopped, I quit. Bought 80 acres in rural Nebraska, outside any HOA, far from rules made by people with clipboards. For 3 years, it was perfect. Creek murmuring, cattle grazing, wind carrying soil instead of diesel. Then Karen arrived. Late May 2024. I heard an expensive engine humming down my farm road. A white Escalade sat parked sideways under my oak tree. A woman inside, phone out, adjusting angles like she was filming a documentary. I walked over, calm. Morning. Can I help you? She tilted her head, annoyed. No, I'm fine. This is the only spot with good 5G. I need to live stream HOA business. This is private property, farm road. I've got equipment coming through. She gave a dismissive wave. I won't be long. I pointed to the private property sign. There's no easement here. You'll need to move. She lowered her sunglasses just enough. You must be new. The HOA has historical access. It's always been that way. New? I'd worked this land every morning for 3 years. No, ma'am. I've owned this land a long while. No easement. She smiled sharp. Empty. Well, the developer told us we have access. I'm sure it's on a map somewhere. You'll figure it out. And just like that, she dismissed me. On my own land. I knew right then. Trouble. 2 days later, same Escalade, same spot, same woman. This time, seat reclined, cold drink in hand, filing her nails, AC running full blast, not live streaming. Just enjoying my shade because it was convenient. I approached slower. Ma'am, we talked about this. She didn't look up. This is long established access. Perfectly legal. There is no easement. The developer told us we have access. I don't have time to argue semantics. That word, semantics, like property rights, were just details beneath her. You can enter Meadowbrook through the highway, 3 miles around. She waved her nail file. That road is ugly. Too much traffic? No shade. Here I get service, shade, and quiet. She sipped her drink. Perfectly harmless. This road is in use. Equipment comes through. I can't have cars blocking access. She smiled, thin as a knife. Don't make things difficult. That word. A warning. A promise. I stepped back. You've made your point. I'll handle this another way. She smirked and went back to her nails. Behind me, the Escalade idled like a smug animal claiming territory. Some people push boundaries because they enjoy watching you tolerate it. 2 weeks passed. Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Always the same spot. Always under my tree. Same script every time. You can't park here. This is community access. There is no community access. I don't have time to argue. Then she crossed the line. Late June, I was hauling feed bags. Tractor parked, engine off. Keys in my pocket. Then it hit a long, angry blast of a horn. The cattle jerked up, eyes wide. Calves scrambled. I rounded the corner. Karen's Escalade angled sideways, blocking everything. one hand on the horn, the other waving like she was summoning a waiter. "You need to move your tractor?" she barked. "My tractor is parked. Engine's off," she huffed. "Well, honk, obviously." Before I could answer, clang, a sharp metallic sound, then a low, pained bellow. My heart dropped. One of my best heifers, 6 months pregnant, slammed her flank against the metal trough. She limped away, favoring her back left leg. Not a fright, a real injury to a pregnant animal. Cold anger sank deep in my chest. "She's hurt," I said quietly. Karen lifted her sunglasses, glanced over. "She looks fine." "You're being dramatic." I stared at her, perfectly relaxed, perfectly indifferent. "Karen, you need to move." She smiled. "Don't make things difficult." She drove away, AC humming. But something had broken inside me. That heifer's limp carved itself into my mind. Karen wasn't going to stop. So I decided I would. Next morning, I checked the heifer. She stood apart, head low, weight off her back leg. I called Dr. Patterson, the vet. He arrived, examined her, pressed her leg. She winced hard. "Ligaments strained. Might have cracked the socket edge," he said grimly. "She's 6 months along. Too much stress can trigger early labor or complications. A pregnant heifer isn't just livestock. She's years of planning. My responsibility." "What happened?" he asked. Somebody leaning on a horn like the world needed to hear them. He sighed. "You need to fix that." He didn't mean the heifer. He meant Karen. I grabbed my deed folder. Surveys, tax records, plat maps. Spread them across the kitchen table. I read every line. There it was. No easements, express or implied. No access rights granted. This land was mine. Period. But facts didn't matter to people who relied on entitlement as oxygen. I needed Jim Sutton, my lawyer. Jim's office sat above the hardware store. Small, quiet, honest. He reviewed everything. 10 minutes later, he closed the file. "No easement," he said flatly. "Nothing she's claiming is real. She's trespassing every time. How do I stop her?" He sighed. "You need documentation. Photos, dates, warnings, witnesses. If this goes to court, we want a mountain, not a hill." He leaned forward. "And Marcus, if she injured your heifer, that's damages, serious damages. This is no longer just property." I nodded. The weight settled heavy. As I drove home, dark clouds stacked over the western tree line, bruised purple with dull green edges. Storm sky. Dr. Patterson's words echoed, "Too much stress can trigger early labor." If that heifer went into labor tonight, if the weather turned, I prayed that road would be clear. By sundown, the western sky looked like bruised steel. Lightning strobed behind mountains of cloud. The air smelled like rain and electricity. I checked the heifer, pacing, restless, sides heaving. I didn't like the look in her eyes. By 9 p.m., wind slammed the barn. Then rain slicing sideways, heavy enough to drown sound. I found her lying in the mud, legs rigid, moaning. She was in labor. Early. Too early. The calf was breech. I called Dr. Patterson. "Load her up. I'll have everything ready." I got her into the trailer body trembling, rain hammering metal. "Stay with me, girl," I whispered. I climbed into the truck, put it in gear, headed toward the road, and stopped dead. Karen's Escalade. Sideways. Blinking hazards. Blocking everything. In the middle of a storm, I slammed the brakes. Mud splashed over the hood. I honked. Once. Twice. 3 times. She didn't move. I stepped out into blinding rain, soaked instantly, mud sucking at my boots. Lightning flashed as I reached her window. She cracked it 2 inches. "Do you mind?" she snapped. "I'm checking flood levels. I have a heifer in labor. I need through." She looked past me, shrugged. "It's just a cow." That sentence didn't just anger me, it hollowed something out. "Move your vehicle. My tires aren't going in that mud. I'm staying until this stops." Lightning cracked. She flinched, rolled up the window, locked the doors, turned on her heater, reclined her seat. 10 feet from a dying animal. In the trailer, the heifer moaned, long, deep, pained. I ran back, opened the door. My heart dropped. She was down, legs kicking weakly, eyes rolled back. The calf coming wrong, threatening to kill them both. I called Patterson. Where are you? Blocked. By who? A woman who thinks her SUV is allergic to mud. Silence. Then voice rough. Marcus, if you don't get that calf turned, you lose both. I know. Can you do it? I looked at the heifer, the storm, the blinking Escalade. I don't have a choice. I hung up. I climbed into the trailer, mud covering my knees, rain pouring sideways. All right, girl, I whispered, hands trembling. Just you and me. I reached in, found the back legs, wrong angle, deadly. The storm roared, thunder rolled, rain slammed metal, but I kept working, braced her hips, twisted the calf, inch by inch, fought her contractions, pressed, shifted, pulled. Lightning flashed me in a mud-soaked trailer, heifer screaming, blood mixing with rain. 10 feet away, Karen sat comfortable, clicking through her phone. I got the calf turned barely, then pulled hard. The heifer kicked weakly. With a final groan, the calf slid into my arms, lifeless. Come on, I whispered, rubbing its chest. Come on. I cleared the nose, pressed, rubbed harder. Lightning, thunder, then a cough, a wheeze, a tiny gasp. The calf moved. You're all right, I choked. The heifer groaned softly. I sat there, soaked, bleeding, shaking, holding a newborn in a storm, while 10 feet away, Karen didn't lift a finger. When I finally got them to the barn, the storm had weakened, but the truth was set. Karen didn't just block a road. She blocked life and death. And that night, standing under flickering barn light, blood on my sleeves, mud on my boots, I made a promise. Next time she parked on my land, I wouldn't move her with words. I'd move her with physics. Perfectly, legally, permanently. I didn't go inside right away. I sat on the barn steps, elbows on my knees, staring at nothing. My hands were still shaking, not from the cold, from something deeper. For the first time since I'd left the city, since I'd escaped that suffocating office life, I felt helpless. All those years I'd told myself, out here, I control my own fate. No bosses, no deadlines, no chaos I didn't choose. But tonight proved me wrong. One woman with an SUV and a sense of entitlement nearly cost me everything I'd worked for, and I couldn't stop her. Not with reason, not with pleading, not even with the law on my side. I pressed my palms against my eyes. What if I'd been 5 minutes later? I whispered to no one. What if I couldn't turn the calf? The barn light flickered. The heifer shifted in her stall. The calf nestled beside her. They were alive, by effort, by luck, by sheer stubborn will, but barely. I took a long, shaky breath. Then I stood up, because helplessness is a choice. And I was done choosing it. I didn't sleep much, but when the sun came up, something in me had shifted. Mid-morning, I heard it again, that smug hum. Karen pulled into the same spot, same angle, same entitlement, head down, sunglasses on, phone in hand. No awareness of the carnage her horn had caused. I didn't stomp toward her. I didn't shout. I just watched. She wasn't ignorant. She was testing boundaries. And she thought I wasn't strong enough to hold them. That was her mistake. I started documenting photos from 3 distances, tire tracks, angles, the private property sign clear in frame. Then I clipped on my body camera and approached. What now? She muttered. Documenting. Trespassing. This isn't trespassing. The developer doesn't own my land. She shrugged. I don't have time to argue semantics. I'll call the sheriff. She rolled her eyes. Go ahead. So I did. On speaker. Let her hear every word. This is Marcus Chen. Repeat trespasser refusing to leave. requesting a deputy. She looked irritated, not scared, just inconvenienced. When I hung up, I walked to the barn, not reacting, preparing. I laid out soft toe straps, padded recovery sling, choke-free tie-downs, locking clevis, poly rope, all legal, all safe, designed to lift without damage. Then I walked to the old oak, ran my hands along the main fork thick as a whiskey barrel, roots tied to the aquifer. That tree had weathered tornado seasons. It could hold the rear of a spoiled woman's SUV without breaking a sweat. I paced distances, measured tire positions, dropped subtle survey flags. The geometry lined up perfectly. She'd given me a predictable routine. And predictable routines make perfect traps. Legal traps. Deputy Trujillo arrived 15 minutes later. Calm walk. No nonsense. He looked at the SUV, then at me. "Morning, Marcus." "Morning, Deputy." He leaned toward Karen's window. "Ma'am, you've been advised. This is private property." She lifted her chin. The developer said. He cut her off gently. "Developers can't grant access to land they don't own." Her confidence flickered. That's one warning. Next one's a citation. She huffed, started the engine, pulled away with theatrical slowness. When she was gone, Trujillo turned back. "You pressing charges yet?" "Not yet." "Building a case?" I nodded. "Smart. Call me if she comes back." "Oh," I replied, looking at the ruts. "She'll be back." And when she did, she wouldn't leave on her own wheels. 3:40 that afternoon, the regrouping arrived. Karen's Escalade led the way, followed by a silver Lexus, navy BMW, and spotless Mercedes. The HOA cavalry. Karen stepped out first. For the first time, I got a clear look at her face to face. Striking. Mid-40s. Flawless makeup. Wine-brown hair in soft waves catching afternoon light. Glossy red lips pressed thin. She wore a crimson blazer, fitted, worn open. Beneath it, black silk with a deep V-neck. Matching pencil skirt, slit high enough to make a point. Red heels clicking like a countdown. She looked ready for a power lunch, not a farm dispute, and that was the point. She crossed her arms, chin high. "Marcus, we're here to resolve a community access issue." I let silence stretch. Community access to what? My driveway. A clipboard woman stepped forward. The developer said this road was part of the emergency overflow route. No developer owns this land. No easement. Karen lifted her chin, red lips curving. "It's on a map somewhere. I don't need to justify myself to you." A golf shirt guy approached. "Buddy, calm down. I'm not your buddy. You're trespassing." A man with a lanyard hit record. "For legal purposes." I tapped my body cam. "Same." Karen inhaled dramatically. "This is harassment." "I'm scared to drive past this man's land." I laughed. "Clean, quiet. Got that on video?" Her mouth snapped shut. She switched tactics. "This road is unsafe. I'm leaving my vehicle as evidence." "Evidence of what? Illegal parking?" She ignored me, turned to her group. "I'm documenting this for our attorney. Dash cam running. Anyone touches my vehicle, I'll sue them into bankruptcy." She walked to the Escalade, grabbed her purse, locked the doors with a double beep, tossed keys into her bag. Then pointed a finger, red nails gleaming. "You touch my SUV, you're done." I didn't flinch. "I won't have to touch it. Not the way you think." She rolled her eyes. "Come on. We're filing an emergency injunction tonight." She got into the Mercedes, hair catching light one last time, heels clicking. The door slammed harder than necessary. The convoy rolled away, leaving behind $90,000 of metal parked at the exact angle I'd measured, beneath the oak fork I'd tested, rear axle lined up like divine intervention. Perfect. She believed her lawsuit threat would freeze me, believed her dashcam protected her, believed I'd be too scared. She didn't understand the difference between damage and immobilization. She didn't understand physics. Tomorrow morning, her Escalade wouldn't be where she left it. It would be right where her arrogance put it, up off the ground. I didn't start immediately. I walked the Escalade's perimeter first, slow, methodical. Her SUV sat like a white rhinoceros in the wrong place, Paint still had storm droplets. Chrome reflected fading sun. The rear axle lined up exactly where I'd hoped. Good. Very good. I filmed everything. Documenting abandoned vehicle, blocking private access, owner left voluntarily, sheriff notified earlier, slow circle, every angle, hood, bumper, panels, wheels, plate. Then, body cam, running continuously. Evidence first, action second. I checked the oak fork, pressed both hands against it. Solid. I hung my full weight from it. Didn't budge. The tree can handle it. Now it's up to me. I paced the axle line, checked ground slope, mud consistency. The ditch would cradle front wheels without stress. The stump would serve as rest point. Nothing sharp. Nothing that could gouge. Nothing to blame me later. Everything safe. Controlled. Time to begin? I carried gear from the barn like a surgeon. Soft recovery straps, axle wrap loops, padded sling, locking clevis, poly line, every tool chosen for one goal, immobilize without damage. I knelt behind the Escalade, grass damp, mosquito buzzing. All right, girl, let's get you tucked in. I looped the first strap around the rear differential exactly where metal was strongest, designed for towing force. Fed it through, pulled snug, ran padding underneath. No metal contact, no friction, no stress on plastic. Second strap, mirror image. Main recovery strap. Clipped loops to clevis, tightened just enough. Gave each connection a hard pull. Everything held. Filmed the entire setup from multiple angles. If Karen claimed damage, footage would prove she lied. My John Deere isn't pretty, but it's strong. I climbed in, turned the key. Diesel rumbled like an old bull. Before moving, I filmed the loader bucket smooth, rounded, nothing sharp. Lined up facing the Escalade, eased forward until strap took tension. Front loader gave me complete visibility and millimeter control. This was precision work. I lifted a few inches. Straps rose. Suspension compressed. Lifted slightly. Perfect. I didn't jerk. Slow, gentle rise. Inched upward. Rear wheels. Lightened. Lightened. Finally, with a soft sigh of released weight, rear wheels left the ground. 2 inches. 4. 6. Just enough. Stopped. Locked hydraulics. The Escalade hung frozen mid-jump. Not swinging, not straining, just hovering. I stepped out to check. 0 bumper pressure. 0 paint contact. Rear wheels drifted freely. Front wheels deep in ditch. Unable to move. The SUV wasn't damaged. Simply defeated. I didn't want it dangling all night Invite's wind sway. I guided the loader forward inch by inch until the rear hovered above the broad, flat stump wide as a dinner table, smooth, stable as bedrock, lowered slowly. Let the rear settle onto the stump like a child set on a chair. When weight shifted fully, I unhooked straps from the bucket, leaving them wrapped around axle and fork to prevent sliding. Backed the tractor away. Drove it into the barn. The result? Beautiful. Rear wheels off ground. Front wheels sunk. SUV balanced on a stump like a bizarre $90,000 coffee table. Even a tow truck would need 20 minutes to figure it out. I stepped back, wiped my hands, took a long breath. Not revenge, geometry. 7:15 next morning, the silver Lexus screeched to a halt. Karen jumped out, red-faced, hair wild still in that crimson blazer, red heels, looking dressed for war. "What did you do?" I stood by the barn, coffee in hand. "Good morning." She circled the Escalade, heels clicking frantically. "It's stuck. You vandalized my vehicle." I shook my head. "Nope, not a scratch. I filmed it." "I'm calling the police!" "They're already coming." I called about an abandoned vehicle. Her mouth hung open. Deputy Trujillo's Tahoe rolled in. He stepped out calm, walked to the Escalade, inspected everything. Bumper, frame, straps, stump, wheels. Then he whistled low. To be honest, I've seen tow companies do worse. This is cleaner than a dealership lift. Karen shrieked. Arrest him. This is theft. Trujillo raised one hand. Ma'am, the vehicle is unharmed, and you abandoned it with no easement. She blinked rapidly. But, ma'am, today, you're getting citations, not victories. The Escalade sat like a monument to arrogance, untouched, unharmed, unmovable, stuck because of her own choices. I folded my arms. You told me not to touch it. Be careful what you wish for. As Trujillo wrote the citation, one of the HOA members, a quiet woman in the Lexus, stepped out. Deputy, she said hesitantly, I need to say something. Karen's head whipped around. Janet, get back in the car. Janet ignored her. Karen told us Mr. Chen was dangerous, that he attacked her, but I've been watching the videos online. None of what she said was true. Karen's face went white. She's been doing this for years, Janet continued. Threatening people, making up violations, using HOA funds for personal expenses. I've been too scared to speak up, but she looked at me. I'm sorry. We should have stopped her sooner. Trujillo's eyes narrowed. You have evidence of fund misuse? Janet nodded. I'm the assistant treasurer. I have everything. Karen's legs buckled. For the first time, I saw it fear. Real, genuine fear. Not of me, not of the law. Fear of losing the only thing she'd ever had. Control. Karen didn't drive home. Her Lexus friend dragged her into the passenger seat while she shrieked at Trujillo. But the moment they disappeared, the farm went quiet. Too quiet. She wasn't done. 9:42 p.m. My phone buzzed. A neighbor. You seen this? She's gone nuclear. A TikTok link. Karen's face, mascara smeared, wine-brown hair plastered, title in red, Evil farmer holds my car hostage. She sniffled into the camera, red lips trembling. He trapped me. Used his tractor to lift my Escalade into a tree. My babies could have been in that car. What kind of monster does that? She turned the camera for angelic lighting. Behind her, a Hobby Lobby sign. Family above all. He's threatened me. Attacked me. He's dangerous. Please share this, she cried into her hands, carefully positioned for the ring light. Within an hour, 80,000 views. Comments hammering me. Psycho. Jail him. Who does he think he is? I watched. Let them burn early. People like Karen count on emotional reactions. But I'm a farmer. I know how to wait. 11:03 p.m. I uploaded one video. No commentary. No editing. Raw, time-stamped body cam footage. Karen blocking the road. Me begging her to move for the laboring heifer. Her honking. Her refusing during the storm while I stood in rain. Finally, her abandoning the Escalade voluntarily. Then, drone-shot soft straps, padded lift. Stump, Trujillo confirming, cleaner than a dealership lift. Caption, full context. 4 minutes. The tide turned. Hold up, this is different. She blocked a man saving a pregnant cow and left the car herself? This man is a genius. He lifted that Escalade cleaner than I lift groceries. By midnight, Karen went from victim to meme. $90,000 teeter-totter. Physics, 1. HOA, 0. She tried deleting comments. Couldn't keep up. 1 a.m. Screenshots of HOA group chat leaked. Karen, in all caps, no one post anything. We must present a unified front. Another member. Karen, it's your voice on video. You lied to us. Total collapse. 6:12 a.m. Email. You didn't get this from me. HOA financial spreadsheets. Receipts. Karen spent thousands on spa weekends, personal vehicle maintenance. Note from Cinder. I'm the assistant treasurer. I'm done covering. Use this. End her. Gift-wrapped nuke. 7:30 a.m. tow truck arrived. Driver circled the Escalade, scratching his head. Walked over. Sir, what in the hell am I looking at? Engineering. He laughed so hard he braced his knees. Karen arrived, crimson blazer rumpled, red heels clicking unevenly, hair wilder. Get it down. Just get it down. Driver lifted his hat. Ma'am, if I scratch even 1 inch getting it off that stump, you sign a waiver. This ain't a breakdown. This is art. Karen turned purple. I'm not signing. Then I ain't touching it. He drove away. Karen screamed into wind. Escalade stayed exactly where I put it. By afternoon, she deleted all social media. But the internet never forgets. I assembled everything. Body cam, drone shots, vet receipts, sheriff statements, financial documents, chat logs. Put it in a thick black binder. Incidents concerning HOA President Karen Salters. Full record. I placed my hand on the cover. Strange, quiet peace. She wanted war. She forgot farmers take notes. Now I was ready for court. Courtrooms smell like old paper, old wood, old secrets. I walked through oak doors, binder underarm, plain clothes, clean boots. 5 minutes later, Karen burst in like a storm. Still, that crimson blazer fitted. Open, black silk V-neck. Matching pencil skirt. Red heels clicking sharply. Wine brown hair pulled back. Sleek. Red lips pressed thin. Furious. She looked at me like I was the devil. I tipped my hat. Judge Calloway, tall, silver hair, glasses on nose tip, tapped his pen. We're here for property damage, trespassing, misuse of authority. Karen's lawyer stood. Your Honor, my client is the victim. Judge lifted a hand. Counselor, I need paperwork. Documentation of an easement granting access to the respondent's road? Silence. Karen swallowed. The developer told us that wasn't my question. Her lawyer fumbled an empty folder. No official easement, Your Honor. Judge nodded. Noted. Proceed. Karen stood. Your Honor, voice trembling, hand on table. He trapped my vehicle, hung it from a tree, terrorized me. Judge adjusted glasses. The sheriff's report states no damage. Correct? Karen hesitated. Yes, but... And you abandoned the car voluntarily after blocking the road during a livestock emergency, correct? Her mouth opened. Closed. I don't recall. Miss Salters. One stern look shut her down. Judge turned to me. Mr. Chen, evidence? I lifted the binder. Thick. Heavy. Yes, Your Honor. Chronological record. I walked forward. Boots echoed. Placed it gently before him. He flipped it open. Page 1. Photos of Karen blocking road. Page 2. Video stills of honking during storm. Page 3. Body cam timestamps. Page 4. Drone footage of Escalade on stump. Courtroom silent except for slow page turning. Karen's breathing grew ragged. Her lawyer sank lower. Then Judge reached. HOA financial records. Unauthorized expenditures. Eyebrow raised. Who provided these? Assistant Treasurer. Voluntarily. Karen's face drained. Inside. HOA funds for landscaping, spa retreats, receipts for board wellness at luxury resorts, PDF outlining, pressure the farmer via access interference. Judge removed glasses. Miss Salters, is this your signature? I didn't. It was a draft. He closed the binder firmly. Judge straightened his robe. I see no wrongdoing by Mr. Chen. I see abundant evidence of harassment, misrepresentation, reckless endangerment by the HOA president. Pause. Therefore, the HOA must cease all claims over Mr. Fortis Chen's property immediately. Miss Salters is fined for false reporting and unlawful interference. She will cover the full cost of the crane to remove her vehicle. Karen gasped. Finally, Judge continued, tapping financial documents, I'm forwarding these to the district attorney for review regarding potential embezzlement. Until that investigation completes, Miss Salters is barred from holding any HOA position. Karen choked on a sob. Her lawyer touched her shoulder. She jerked away. This isn't fair, she cried. He humiliated me. Ruined me. Judge spoke without looking up. No, Miss Salters, you did that to yourself. Gavel hit. Sharp. Final. Karen left first red-eyed, shaking, muttering into phone. Crimson blazer rumpled, red heels clicking unevenly. Her lawyer trailed, clearly regretting everything. HOA board members avoided her. 2 nodded to me. Outside, sun warm, wind gentle, honest weather, honest land. I drove home slow. When I pulled up, the Escalade was gone, hauled away at Karen's expense. My heifer stood in pasture, healthy. Calf wobbled on new legs beside her. Life goes on. I climbed porch steps, leaned against the post, watched the field breathe in afternoon light. After a long, quiet minute, I said aloud to no one, just the open air. The world only bends for people who push honestly. The farm was peaceful again. No SUVs, no HOA, no drama. Just land, just work, just life. Finally back where it belonged.